Welcome to Martin Monday's Intentional Intimacy, where love, life, and legacy meet in the moments that matter most. Every week, I will share sacred reflections of my 30-year marriage before Martin's passing, as well as our life now without him. May these reflections help us live with more weight, warmth, and wisdom. Martin was a letter carrier by profession, but a life carrier by purpose. So let's take a moment and let intentional intimacy speak. Hey, good day, good day. Welcome to Martin Mondays. This is episode 30. Wow, we're getting we're getting mature here. So this is episode 30, and this is the episode I'm calling the year that I wasn't supposed to reach. And so let's dive in. So I was 30 years old when my bridge son, Montgomery, was born. So that sentence, it actually still feels kind of strange for me to say it because when I was a child, guys, opportune word, I really didn't believe that 30 was possible. I was born in 1970, and in my childish way, I just thought that the year 2000 wasn't possible. It just didn't seem real, almost like science fiction or something. um, it wasn't really a future that I imagined for myself. And it was an ending. I just felt like the world was going to stop, and somehow so was I. Like, I just wasn't going to live to turn 30. And so I didn't have a language for it then. It was kind of childish in some regard. I didn't really know what to call it. But it definitely lived in me as an uncertainty, even as I got older, even into my adulthood. Um, 30 kind of wasn't adulthood for me. It was kind of disappearance. Like, I just didn't think it would exist. So my mom, she really tried to challenge my fear in this regard. She wasn't forceful about it or dismissive. She was encouraging, and uplifting in her own way. And she always challenged me to see it differently, to imagine a future that didn't collapse, at the age of 29 or some year before then. So, but still, guys, this unbelief, it lingered inside. So when I got married to Martin at 21, I told him about it. I was like, babe, let me tell you about it. It was a casual conversation, and I was just kind of sharing it with him, like my little childhood superstition. And so I just don't think I'm going to make it to 30. He's like, yeah, you are, babe. He didn't laugh at me. He didn't correct me in any way. He just was encouraging. And he held it, and he realized that it was something that was sensitive. So now, fast forward now, it's time for my 30th birthday. I'm born in January. I just so happened to be pregnant with Montgomery. Of course, everything was a buzz with Y2K and all the preparation stuff, the power grids and energy collapsing and. But Martin, he never let any of that, bother me or erupt what was happening. And so he planned this surprise birthday party for my 30th birthday. And so he made 30 become something that was visible and something that was very possible. We celebrated, um, we witnessed me turning 30, and it was beautiful. And it was very welcoming and very exciting. And there was this photo, and I might just post that photo. There was this photo that my brother-in-law had taken of me and my mom during just a little moment in the party where we were just kind of sitting and talking intimately. And he sent it to me a few years ago. And I like reflecting on that photo because it was like, wow, I made it, Mom. Hey, Mom, I made it, like kind of thing. And so part of the irony in that, in looking at that picture, my 30th birthday, my mom passed away on my 39th birthday. And so she and I never crossed into 40 together, but we definitely had 30 and all the years, leading up to that. And so here it would be in that same year, Y2K, the year I thought would never be, I gave birth to Montgomery, my bridge son. And so that year that I feared had actually become the year that opened up new possibilities for me. And I would like to reflect on the other side. All right, it's time to reflect. So let's see. In reflection, Martin, he didn't heal my childhood fear by fixing it. He did not. He didn't try to reason it away or minimize it in any way, shape, or form. Quite honestly, he did something perhaps a bit more noble and a bit more brave. He took what was my fear seriously, and he saw that a belief that bothered me as a child, he took it and he helped to reframe my future around it and to love me through the process. What's the word say? Perfect love cast out all fear. And that's something that Martin did for me over and over and over again. He did not erase my fears. He did not judge my fears. He made room for love and hope to stand amid the fears and ultimately mitigate them. And so, in the year that I believed I wouldn't see ever in life, I became a mom. I birthed something new, not just in the earth, in a physical person, but also in myself. I birthed possibilities because I saw life differently. And how was I able to do that? Not because the fear was wrong, it was legit. It bothered me, it was a real fear. But the love was stronger and greater than the fear. So I share that to challenge all of us to be like Martin. And when someone has a fear or a concern, to listen. What's the expression? We listen, we don't judge. To listen and create a safe space for them to be able to express it. But then also, within what's possible within you, create space for love, but also hope in that place and in that space for them. Because that's what Martin did for me. And I'm also encouraging you that if you were like me and you had a fear or a concern about something that would not manifest in your life, give yourself grace and space. Just as you're going to extend it to others, give yourself grace and space as well. And if you've already now, looking back, achieved what you thought you wouldn't do, congratulations. Perfect love cast out all fear. So love well in the days, the weeks, and months ahead. And I'll catch you next week on Martin Mondays. Take care. Martin Mondays continues on Tuesday with the Tuesday Tea. Check it out and join me and take a sip. You know, Martin used to say a lot of things. Some were funny, some were wise, but one thing he often said was wow. Wow. Just those 3 letters. It spoke volumes. It meant a lot. When he didn't know what to say, wow. When he was excited about something, wow. When he was confused, perhaps, or even frustrated, he said, wow. And you know, he's still saying wow. Through this bracelet, he's still saying wow, because he's still saying, may your whole life prove that God is good. And so in closing, that's my hope for you this week. May you have wow moments as you too are living out legacy. Live in the wow. Live in the reality of knowing that your whole life is good. Live in the heartbeat of Martin Mondays and intentional intimacy. May that anchor you in this week as you build legacy, one wow, one moment at a time. See you next week.